that only 18% of women can reliably orgasm from intercourse alone. That means 82% of women need something more. And most of them have never been told or figured out what that something is. Now, it's not about just finding the right position, being with the right partner, or
But
just...
how the fuck can... Dude, that's correct. Dude, think about that. That means the majority, by the way... Wait, isn't it... there's a stat, right? Isn't it? Don't the majority of chicks not bust when they have sex? So that means the majority of chicks that they're getting with are not busting. Me, I'm logged in. Okay? You just ask your mother. Just ask your mother. Okay?
Taking longer. It comes down to one specific thing that your body is almost certainly not getting during sex. I'm Dr. Rena Malik, urologist and pelvic surgeon, and today I'm going to break down what the research actually says about female orgasm during sex, why the way most couples have sex is biologically working against women. And there's a specific technique that researchers have tested.
If that's the way nature ordained it be... That's ultimately, at the end of the day, you're going to argue with God.
In controlled trials that actually helps women orgasm better. I'm going to share exactly how to do it, but first you need to understand why the problem exists in the first place. First off...
Well, I mean, isn't this just evolution though, right? Like, wait, if chicks don't always orgasm, isn't that evolution? I'm just saying. Isn't there, like, dude, isn't there a reason? Am I crazy? Like, if that's a thing, unless, every dude in the world is just like, the majority of them are retarded, and the majority of them just don't know how to make their wife bust.
People just don't understand female anatomy and how it relates to pleasure. And it's not anyone's fault. No one is teaching you about female anatomy. Sexual education in school, frankly, sucks. Our parents don't talk about it with us. And so you're left with watching a...
All right, kids, this is how you get a chick off. Wait, I don't know what would that be. How would you do that? Like, okay, so what? That's like what when they've gone through puberty, so like they're 17 or 16 or something. You're just like, all right, kids, this is the clit. All right, that's the critical hit zone. All right. This is the critical. You want to get 10x points if every time you hit that zone.
Films where the females orgasm on command, basically within minutes of penetration, and reading articles online which are basically subliminally telling us it's our fault because we're just not gods in bed and we're not doing the right position and we don't know the hacks. But the real reason is the clitoris is the primary organ for sexual pleasure.
The crit zone.
The most reliable route to orgasm. But what most people don't know is that the clitoris is not just that small little bud you see on the outside. It's actually a much larger internal organ. And it goes deep in
What the fuck is that? Jesus. What? Oh, shit. No, they got like a fucking nutsack. The clit's got like a... Oh, no. What is this?
pelvis, and it has a shaft, and then it has two legs called a crura that extend back along the vaginal walls. And what you're really seeing is just the head. Basically, like the head of the penis, you're seeing the head of the clitoris. Now,
bruh.
Here's where the problem comes in with traditional sex, what we think good sex is. So typical penetrative sex is basically what people tend to do most often, and that's in and out thrusting, right? Just in and out. And that does actually very little to directly stimulate the clitoris. It's basically like if I were to stimulate a male's scrotum. It might feel great, but it's certainly not going to make him orgasm alone. And it's the same thing. The clitoris actually sits above the vaginal opening. So when you...
Wait, stimulate the scrotum. I mean, dude, at the end of the day, that sounds like a skill issue. At the end of the day, mate, dude, there are people, dude, there's a YouTuber called Moist Critical, the NPC guy. He could bust, I kid you not, from nothing. Okay? No hands. How do I know this? Because he made a whole video on it. He talking about how he watches porn and he would like fucking just bust. He could just bust like Jedi. He was calling it like Jedi mode or something. And he could just bust no hands. So it's one of the things. Dude, chick with the scrotum. I mean, I could easily bust. Like if that's what was required of me. Like, all right, you need to bust. Just scrot only. I could do it.
Thrust in and out, it's not doing much to stimulate the clitoris. So if you or your partner have felt like something is missing, you're not broken. You are not like missing something. You just have been told that this is how sex is done. And the mechanics are just not centered or designed around anatomy that matters. So this brings me to that studied technique that
bad game. They need to help fix this. They got some bad game mechanics, bro.
Actually works. Because once people really understood female anatomy, and let me tell you, it's taken a long time to truly understand it. And in fact, the clitoris...
This is retarded. I'm sorry. Dude, we're slightly evolved chimpanzees. What are you on about? Dude, the dick goes into the pussy hole, okay? There's not like some science fucking lesson you're supposed to learn. There's not some fucking... some crazy, like you gotta read some textbooks and study mechanics and be like, yes, yeah. Bro, come on. What, we are slightly evolved chimpanzees. Did any of the other animals need science books to have sex? Do any no, wait, they don't. They just fucking do it, bro. And they produce offspring. Dude, sex is working. As long as we're not extinct, sex is working. Facts. Why do you think that dudes get like bricked up and get horny and want to fucking bust some chicks and chicks get horny? Why do you think that is? Specifically, you know when they get horny, right? You know when they get horny. It's when they're ovulating. It's when they're fertile. It all comes down to breeding. It's literally hard-coded breed mechanics that just giga-bias us to making babies. Dudes are just 24/7 DTF. Chicks get super horny whenever they're fertile. Babies. That's it. It's not complicated. It really isn't complicated.
Was just recently mapped out in terms of how many nerves are in the clitoris, like only a few years ago. But since we finally understand this, researchers started asking a very specific question. What if instead of thrusting, couples moved differently? Does this make a difference during penetrative intercourse?
Shit.
Would orgasm rates actually go up? Instead of moving more, what about changing the technique? And this is because most people assume that more movement, lasting longer in bed, equals more stimulation. But the data actually tells us a very different story. So in a large study of over 1,200 women, researchers used what's called structural equation modeling. Basically, this statistical method to analyze what body movements during vaginal intercourse were actually associated with more frequent orgasms. So what they found was back and forth rocking and swinging movements of the pelvis.
Is she gonna tell us to get a fucking sex swing, bro? Is she about to tell us to get a sex swing?
And the trunk, your abs and your back, during intercourse were positively associated with orgasm frequency. And even when you compared it to just rubbing the clitoris when the body remained still, they actually had more orgasms when they did sort of this rhythmic rocking motion. And so what this tells us is it's really the motion, right? This rhythmic motion keeps continuous contact between the bodies. It's more effective than an isolated manual stimulation on an otherwise body that's not moving very much. So in other words, the motion matters as much as where you're doing the motion. Okay. Another study, which was a representative study of the U.S.
What's she saying right now? She's saying, wait, you need to be in rhythm, moving together. I don't know if that sounds like it's going to work out. I'm going to be honest.
looked at 3,000 women and tried to put sort of percentages. So they identified a technique they called rocking, where they basically found that the base of the penis or a toy was rubbing the clitoris by
Right, it's just fucking weird. I won't be honest. It's fucking weird. Like, this is the weirdest video. This is the weirdest video I think I've watched in a long time. Like, who is studying this? Who is studying this? Like, what? All right, I want to just, I'm just a real pro-woman guy. We need to just get a bunch of dildos. All right, we need to get a bunch of chicks. All right, I got some grants here. We're going to find out how to make as many chicks come as possible. All right, this is my... I mean, what the fuck? What is this? What the fuck is this? Oh, my God.
Being fully inserted rather than thrusting in and out. 76% of women reported using this technique to make vaginal penetration more pleasurable. Another technique they did is angling, where they adjusted sort of the tilt of penetration to increase clitoral contact. So women are doing this.
I was like, shit, let me get my protractor out. Just puts it up to the pussy. Like, all right, so my angle's off by 10 degrees. All right, adjusting. Okay, yep. Is that good, baby? Yeah, you like that? Oh shit, I'm out by 2 degrees. I mean, what?
To essentially get more stimulation of the clitoris, and that was used by 88% of
science.
Women. So instead of thrusting in and out, bottom line, try to rock front to back and stay fully inserted rather than thrusting in and out to allow continuous contact with the area of the clitoris.
It's a dot build. It's a dot build. You gotta have continuous contact. You gotta stay in close range.
Now, unlike what most people think, sex and being good at sex takes practice. And practice is okay. If anything is worth practicing for, it's sex. Sex is supposed to be fun. It's playful. So just don't take it so seriously.
What is it for? It's for breeding. That's the primary purpose of sex, for breeding.
If you mess up or something doesn't work the way you want it to, it's not a big deal. It doesn't mean you need to catastrophize. Now, they also looked at a very specific technique, and it's actually developed precisely to solve this problem. And it's actually been looked at in multiple studies. It's called the coital alignment technique.
I swear to God, if she was going to say the strap-on technique or something, I was just wondering, what's she about to say, bro? What's she about to say?
Now, if you watched the Sex Life TV show, they actually had a whole scene where they showed this sort of technique that he was using that was extremely pleasurable to the female partner. So this technique was
developed.
That
is degenerate. What is she watching? That is degenerate. What the fuck is... What? Oh, my God. Wait, what?
Developed by researcher Edward Eichel in the late 1980s.
What?
To start in a modified missionary position. So essentially, similar to missionary, but the penetrating partner actually shifts their...
watching a full-on sex documentary where they're doing different sex techniques. That is crazy. Well, let me think here. The only way I could watch something like that and like lock in is that it had to be post-nut clarity. Right? I'm post-nut. And then it's like, none of this shit is just kind of, whatever. It's one of those things. And then at that point, I could actually watch it as like not a Kuma. And I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to learn. But it would just be kind of, ugh. Bro, how old am I? I am 35. Bro, no libido. What? Ask your mom if I got no libido, bitch ass. What are you talking about? I got no libido. What are you talking about? I got no libido. I have too much libido. I'm literally saying I wouldn't be able to watch this documentary because I'd be too bricked up to watch it. I'm saying I would have to nut first just to pay attention to the video. Is what I'm saying. How is that low libido? I'm saying I wouldn't be able to. That's what I'm saying. I would need to. That's what I'm saying. I need post nut clip, that's reasonable. That's reasonable.
Body upwards, so they're riding a little higher than usual, so the base of the penis, or if you're using a toy on your penis, is in constant contact with the external clitoris. Do you see a pattern here? It's all about clitoral stimulation. So instead of thrusting in and out once they're in that position, both partners move in sort of like a coordinated pressure.
What I want to know is why did evolution make vaginas this way? That's what I want to know. Because we evolved our dicks in the way that they are evolved, right? And the vagina's evolved the way. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, clearly, if it was like if chicks were if chicks were coming too much, maybe it's a downside and they didn't reproduce as much, or maybe they all died off because they were just pure hedonists. I don't know. And then it's clearly this middle ground of like, I don't know. Are we supposed to be studying this shit and creating the angling technique? I don't know. Like, dude, all I'm saying is having to read textbooks in order to have sex and watch documentaries. That sounds kind of unnatural to me. That sounds kind of crazy to me. That's
rocking motion. In the original study that
no, I'm not saying something that's unnatural is bad. I'm just saying it seems like it's like having it's like one of the most, it's like writing a textbooks on how to drink water or something, bro. You know, how to eat food. Okay, you fucking chew it, you masticate, you swallow. Oh shit, really? That's how you do it? Oh no shot.
Described this. They had 86 participants and women who learned.
Oh, dude, my computer is unnatural. My internet connection's unnatural. My whey protein's unnatural. My artificial lighting. I mean, it's artificial lighting. Oh, it's not natural lighting, is it? It's everything. I'm surrounded by things that are unnatural. I'm just saying. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
Learned the coital alignment technique, had significantly higher rates of orgasm during sex, higher rates of simultaneous orgasm with their partner, and they described their orgasms more often as complete and satisfying when compared to the group that didn't use this technique. Not every study showed this sort of uniform dramatic results, and some researchers have found more modest results, and outcomes generally depended on individual anatomy. Now, if you're new here, I've had a prior video where I talked about how actually depending on the thickness between the vagina and the clitoris, that can affect sort of orgasm frequency as well as sort of the volume there. And so that's going to be variable from person to person. But at the end of the day, if you want to try different things, you absolutely should. One, it brings novelty into the relationship. It allows you to try new things. And if it works, that's great. But with this particular technique, sometimes it requires a bit of practice because it's not intuitive. And so overwhelmingly, the evidence is pretty positive for this technique, but it's not really magic. It's a tool. And just like any other tool, it works better when you practice it and you communicate with your partner. Now that I've told you the research, let me give you 4 tips that you need to really maximize pleasure and enhance orgasm in your relationship. First, you have to talk about it, and then you got to try it. Before you try any new position, you have to make sure your partner is on board and that you're working together. It's like a choreographed dance. If you're moving one way and your partner's not with you, it's not going to work. So you have to actually bring it up before you're in the bedroom. Say, hey, I want to try this new position. Are you into it? And this is how we do it. And if it doesn't work, like, what do we do? It's okay, right? Because it might not. It's the first time you're trying something, but like, hey, let's try this out. Because if you start rocking one way and they're rocking the other way, it's not going to work. The second,
honey. All right, we need to chat. Anal. I just wanted to say it's just a World of Warcraft joke, chat. All right,
tip is
that shit is absolutely unnatural. You definitely shouldn't do that. Don't do that.
You don't have.
That's bad for you. That's bad for you. Bad for your health. That's no.
To do the specific
Satan's
coil
hole.
alignment technique. You can apply rocking principles across any position. You can do it with the woman on top so that she can angle her hips forward and grind against sort of the mons area, the pubic bone, rather than moving up and down. And again, the principle is always the same. Stay in contact with the clitoris and continue rocking or stimulating the clitoris throughout penetration. Third, try pairing. That same large survey found that about 70% of women use this technique called pairing, meaning they add direct manual clitoral stimulation during penetration. So either they stimulate their clitoris, their partner does, they use a toy, whatever, but they're also stimulating the clitoris. And guys, the research shows that
that's some hedonistic shit, man. Holy fuck. What the what you got? What, oh my! You got fucking 6 toys. Got the 6 swing. You're in constant fucking. You're in constant connect, bro. Apparently, every chick's got dildos now. That's what I've been told. according to Twitch chat, which is like everyone's just got dildos now. At the end of the day, this shit is crazy.
Over and over again. Orgasms are more frequent and more intense when you have clitoral and vaginal stimulation at the same time. So if you rock and you have direct stimulation, you're probably going to get the best of both worlds. And number 4, consider trying some sex aids like pillows, swings, or even specialized stools to help you try certain positions.
Fucking sex stools? Wait, what does that mean? Sex pillow? What is she talking about? What the fuck? Bruh, this is like the fucking whenever we bought the house we're living in, the fucking they had like a giant hook with a chain above the bed, and we're like, what the fuck is that? The fuck is that? Why is there a giant ass hook put into a stud like with a chain coming down? And we're like, can we remove that? And the builder was like, what is it? And then the builder started cracking up. It's like, Jesus. And they had this fucking huge ass mirror there. This fucking big mirror. And then anyway, I asked the guy, it's like, what's that chain for in the bedroom? Like, he's like, oh, I broke my leg and I needed to raise my leg. So I made a little chain to raise my leg when I broke it. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Yeah, fair enough.
more comfortably. And I've actually previously talked about these different sex aids on the channel before, so check out that video. There's so many different options. You can start with something really affordable or even just a pillow, and you can be more adventurous and try different things. Now, if you're a woman watching and you've never been able to orgasm during intercourse, or you've always needed to finish separately, I think the big takeaway is that you're not alone. The majority of women need clitoral stimulation to climax, so you're not broken, and you just need to figure out how to get better clitoral stimulation during climax. Also, you know, a big thing is making sure.
Well, that's natural, right? That's the natural state. That's the natural state. It's not every chick's busting every time, right? I guess that's just natural. That's what it is.
Sure, there's enough arousal. And
now you can obviously min-max and figure it out. Min-max and figure it out. Fair enough then. Min-max and figure it out.
And that can easily be enhanced.
Now, chat. Ain't no way that ever happening with me, okay? Ain't no way. Okay. Yo. If you think I'm 10 out of 10 Ubers, okay? You think this guy, hits can't be evaded.
By taking more time with foreplay and incorporating lubricants, which are great, and I've talked about as well on this channel before. If you want to learn about more ways to improve your sexual experience,
baby oil next.
Think about pre-ordering my book, The Hard Truth. It comes out September 1st, so you might be thinking, why should I pre-order? These pre-orders are so important for authors because every single copy we sell before publication week sends a signal to the publishers, to the media, that sexual health needs to be taken seriously, and this book is important. And we really need more and more people to learn about sexual health, to have more pleasure. So be a part of the signal and pre-order your copy today from any major retailer. The link is in the description, or check it out at renamalikmd.com/hardtruth. And if you order now, you can get up to $500 free for pre-order bonuses. So to wrap it up, this is what I want you to take away from this video. 80% of women can't reliably orgasm from intercourse alone, and that is completely normal. The research would support that having any form of sustained clitoral contact through rocking,
this is the devil's video, dude. The devil's truth. Yeah, I know, dude.
Grinding, or just directed stimulation while you're penetrating is far more effective than in and out thrusting for producing orgasms. Now, sex is not all about orgasms, but they're pretty great. Doesn't matter what you're doing, but the underlying principle is more important. Keep clitoral stimulation, keep it in contact, move together rhythmically, and you will have better outcomes. If you found this helpful, I'd love...
Dude, the idea of ordering a book that's about sex is like some called The Hard Truth is crazy to me. I couldn't understand. Do you know what? I could understand like a sex position book. That like, okay, so you know it's not very creative. Like what? Obviously, there's people over the thousands of years that figured out all sorts of weird positions you can get into. So the Kama Sutra book, that at least makes sense. I didn't want to get that book. I want to get that. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that shit, dude. When I, at some point, so I can learn. Because right now, I'm just kind of like I'm a, there's like the Scion Life Wheel and the Marauder Start Zone. I've got like I'm in the start zone of the moves I've got, but they're old and reliable. You know what I'm saying? They do the job. They do the job at the end of the day. But wait, copying builds is kind of cringe, actually. But then, would you really want your fucking... You might end up, like, fucking breaking your penis or something. Trying to go blind ethical. Like, you try to do some backflip shit. Like, do, like, a 360. Just, like, fucking snap your dick. It's as if ethical... Yeah, I don't know.